Is Big Los, and today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/beat and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs, download a title free, and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/BEAT.
Boy, just be yourself. If people don't like it, if you're being yourself, fuck them.
Big Los.
Hollywood Kev.
And welcome to another episode of The Noize. If you haven't yet, go ahead and follow us on the Big Three, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Noize Podcast. And of course, follow everything Beat Network at beatnetworkonline.com. We are just going to talk as if it just hasn't been a week.
Yeah.
We're going to pretend I was on that last episode. Kev, how are you, my guy?
Kev, how's Kev? Kev is good, man. Kev is good. Yeah, Kev is good, man. Trying to get out the monotony of boring, regular, everyday shit. You know what I mean? Really applying myself to where I can apply myself so I can to achieve what I'm trying to achieve. That's all.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not really lollygagging or doing stuff. You know what I mean? If it's not productive, I'm really not trying to be about it.
I understand that. That. I've been working.
Nah, damn that. Los, how was your week?
I was working. So I told Kev I wanted to get in here and I guess address the fact that I said I was taking the rest of February off.
You lie.
Hella
We
lie.
needed that flex drop right there.
Right there. He's a liar. He said he wanted to take time off and you believed him. It's your fault. But yeah, I was going to take off the rest of February, start getting my head right. Funny enough, that episode influenced a lot of reach out. Ear hustlers, friends, everybody just like kind of hitting me up and, giving me well wishes, which was dope. I kind of feel like it may have been taken more seriously than it should have.
That's probably my fault.
What you do?
with the show, I wasn't trying to make it seem like it was something just mad serious. I was just trying to say like, no, this still my man's, like this my nigga. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's probably my fault. My bad.
Man, it's all good. All right, so cool. We're gonna put that on Hollywood Kev. But yeah, I still appreciate it, man. Just as human beings, we go through things.
Yeah,
and sometimes you kind of need that opportunity to kind of just sit back and just exhale real quick. Or as I would always say, let my brain fart.
Right.
So I got some good gas off.
I got
some good gas off, but having conversations with different people, and honestly, man, it's weird not being a part of the things that I'm a part of. We just released the latest episode of Turn My Mic Up, and I wasn't on that. I was here as just pretty much engineer.
Right.
When you and Jada. Shout out to Jade too. Appreciate you coming in so last minute and jumping in there and having an excellent conversation with my guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just didn't feel right. Don't get me wrong, is a lot of the stuff better, not fully. But I'm taking the necessary steps to make sure that it all is better.
Gotcha.
Taking the necessary steps to make sure that my head and heart are in the right place and they're matching how my soul feels. You know what I mean? So I wasn't going long enough to be like, oh man, this, that, and the third, but I definitely can say that just watching things kind of tick without me was like, I don't like that shit. That should have me banana.
Now, do you not like it as in it wasn't to your liking, or you don't like it as in you weren't included?
No, neither. It was just more so, this is just what I love to do.
Gotcha. Just that left out feeling.
Best way to put it. Remember, I think it was like a year or so ago. No, it was a little longer than that. Forgot what year it was during our time as friends. You were hooping and then you hurt your ankle or your back. I know those are two completely different areas, but it was one that you got hurt during the game. And you even said when I came out the game, it was rough watching the rest of the game. You guys still end up winning, but you know that your contribution was like, I want to be in there. I want to make some shit happen. That's pretty much how I was feeling. It was just weird just being on the other side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially with the Noize. Because, this is it for us. You know what I mean? And just, you know, knowing that I chose to remove myself to, you know, for good reasoning. I chose to remove myself, and then it's going. And again, you had a solid co-host. You guys had a great conversation. It was just weird, just kind of being on that end.
What you mean.
You know what
I understand what you mean.
But
especially when you've been doing it. I think it probably maybe wouldn't have been so weird if that was your first time coming on. But you know what I mean. But you've been doing it for as long as we've been doing it. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, but definitely nothing in the sense of wasn't to my liking or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, it's our show. So you know, I'm all for, you know, being able to step in and handle your business, especially with Turn My Mic Up. You've been directing all the ones that I haven't been there. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's a weird itch that I
understand.
Always scratch.
I understand completely. I do.
But I guess the second reason why I wanted to come back is because I couldn't miss this interview opportunity.
Yeah.
This is this is a very well-known guy in Vegas to not be a Vegas native, to not be born and bred here. In Bryan Massey, you guys are definitely familiar with his Educated Thug brand. As he was talking about on the show, his ties and his tie teaching methods that he helps kids out with. He just recently published a all-black coloring book, the Positively Black Coloring Book.
Yeah.
One of the things that I meant to say in the interview was there needs to be more of this.
Yeah.
There needs to be more opportunities because he was dropping gems in the interview, y'all. We really can't wait for y'all to hear this interview. But there needs to be more of it because what he meant to accomplish by dropping an all-black coloring book, he did.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was a chain reaction.
Absolutely.
With every little black boy and girl that was using the coloring book.
Yeah. Even if I know this won't be the case, but even if he stopped today, you know what I mean? By him having a coloring book and putting that out, the kids are gonna remember that when they get older. Gonna be like, I remember this coloring book from when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Maybe that was the first time they were able to feel represented or something like that. So yeah, that's dope.
No, absolutely. I just realized something, but I'm not going to speak on the episode. I'm going to say it later. Anyway.
Is that where your eyes got big?
Yeah, because I realizing.
I thought something was behind me, and I was like, shit, something behind me?
Nah. However, I'm going to need you to step up your reflex game, because it was something behind you.
No, if it was, I would stop, but I was like, I don't know if he's looking because there's something behind me or not, because I would have, you know what I mean?
It was the Babadook. You know, he was up in here.
Well, if that's the case, we fucked.
This is also true.
It don't matter if I look behind or not.
We would be all the way out of here. But yeah, I think, you know, what he's doing just in general between the Educated Thug brand, the coloring book, what he's doing is something that every black community needs.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
If there are people who still try to say, oh, there's nothing out here. Actually, I was just having this conversation with somebody on social media where they were saying that there's nothing out here for black men. You know what I'm saying? To kind of help them develop when they're past that adolescent age that where you get all these boys groups, like they need something for the young men transitioning into adulthood. And Educated Thug is definitely one of those things that it needs that spotlight.
Yeah, because
obviously they do a lot of work with kids, but there's no like age restriction. You know what I'm saying on mentorship and that was a great conversation that we had.
There's no age restriction on learning in general.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So if you got a kid that's learning how to tie a tie and he's 5, great. But if you got a kid that's 15, he ain't never learned how to tie a tie. Yeah. So that's great too. So yeah, just go out there and do it.
Definitely. Another thing that's dope about this coloring book is that it's all black everything. It's all black artists, all black pressers. I think he actually owns the publishing for the book. It's a self-published book at that. Yeah, this is something everybody needs to get behind, man.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna champion this as much as I can because y'all know how we feel about black businesses, black entrepreneurs, and all that other great stuff. So definitely make sure y'all go out there and cop the Positively Black Coloring Book. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it in Bryan Massey. Give it up for the man himself in Bryan Massey. How are you, sir?
I'm well. How y'all doing, man?
I'm doing good, man.
We're making it. Good to have you back in Beat Network Studios.
Yes, sir. Yeah. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Definitely been some time. First time on the Noize. We had you on Like Water for Chocolate. Was like about a year ago, year and a half?
Nah, that was like 3 years ago.
That might have been longer than that.
I said that was like in the beginning.
Yeah, I think that was my first interview.
Word.
And underneath the umbrella of Educated Thug, yeah.
Okay.
That's dope.
Yeah.
We see all the moves that you're making. I want to catch up our listeners as well as the people that you got bringing in to hear your story. So tell us a little bit about Educated Thug before we get into the book.
All right, so Educated Thug is a brand dedicated to merging hip-hop culture with academia.
Yes, sir.
So basically, just trying to make it cool to go to school and get degrees and show some of these kids out here that, you don't have to be the cornball to go to school.
Right.
Like, it's some wavy cats that really got degrees, that really, doctorates, masters, and different things of that nature.
Right.
And what started off as a joke, some of my homegirls on campus, shout out to Brockport, SUNY, State University of New York. They was like, "Oh, you are educated thug. You are educated thug." Because of the way we dressed, but we still going to, we was on campus, still going to class, and
Exactly.
but we wasn't like, quote unquote cooning or selling out or whatever. Some people feel that way, So people was just showing love, and it started off as a joke, and we took that name and ran with it when we moved out here, and we pretty much put everything, all the community work we was already doing underneath the Educated Thug banner.
Okay.
And Thug stands for Teaching the Hood Uplifting Goals.
Yeah.
And we just do a lot of community work. Last year we gave away 357 backpacks.
Okay.
At the Cambridge Rec Center. And haircuts.
Bumpy Johnson with the turkeys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's crazy because when I'm walking through that neighborhood and going to like a 7-Eleven or something, kids run down on me and their parents like, "Who's this black? Who's this bro? You running up?" And they're like, "Oh, this the guy," but and oh my God, thank you for the backpack.
Oh, yeah, the whole tone changed.
Yeah, it's nothing but love. Like, I fell in love with, the Cambridge area. When I moved to Vegas, I really didn't know too much about like the different neighborhoods and things like the North and stuff. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to UNLV. I'm gonna move into that area.
Right.
And this area over there is not the best of areas.
Right.
It's not the strongest.
Yeah. Right. So I was like, okay, well, this community needs work. And
Right.
one of my mentors in New York, she said that to me before I left, was like, Rochester does not have the only ghetto in the world.
Oh, yeah.
There's black people all around the world. Like, there's places in Montana we don't even know about that lower socioeconomical classes. So, the work everywhere needs to be done. So that's the area I chose to, do that work, put that work in.
Do you rap?
Nah.
I'm asking because I'm listening to him like, yo, he might got a hot 16 from you right now.
Back in the day, I feel like every black man wanted to play
Everyone's tried it
ball.
at least once, right?
Yeah, play ball or rap, you feel me? Like, I had beats on deck back in the day, but,
There might be some tapes out there.
Yeah,
there
if
might
you
be
really
some.
look for it.
It is.
Might be something. I actually had a question that I was talking to him about pre-show.
Yeah.
About the Educated Thug banner. I was like, damn, why did he choose that? But you kind of answered that.
Yeah.
So my question then would be, with that name, have you ran into any issues? what issues you run into?
Yo, you want to know the crazy part about it is, I've run into more issues about the name from like the quote unquote bougie black people. Like,
Really? Okay.
like the educated, black people, like,
Thespians
and
Got you.
yeah, like, so once I start talking about what I do, they kind of back off.
Got you.
Someone was like, "Oh, we shouldn't be involved in that rhetoric and that narrative of the thug." And this was like, "Yo, we aggressive when it comes to getting education. Like,
Right.
we educated thugs. Like,
Right.
because I'm pretty sure you guys know, like, you walk into that campus, no matter what you got on,
Yeah,
no
it
matter
don't
how
matter.
you look, they looking at you like, brother, why you here?
Yeah.
You still black.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Can't take that off.
No matter what, like I was in the military first before I went to college, so. And uniform in the military, suited and booted, they still looking at me like,
Really?
yeah, I'm like, who are you? Pulled over by the police, same thing. Like, what are you doing? You sure? Whose uniform you took? Like, what? Are you serious?
Wow. Now I've heard about, them having issues like that in the military, racial issues, but I've never actually talked to somebody that can kind of vouch for that. I don't know. It's just weird to hear.
Well, on post, it's all love. Like, you just green. It don't matter. You light green, dark green.
Got you.
But once you get off into that city, it's kind of like being, in the collegiate atmosphere. It's like, okay, well, yeah, you here for school. Like, go back to campus.
Gotcha.
So a lot of the people that are local, like, yo, go back to post. So, like, when you in the military, you get the most, like, flack from, a lot of the younger guys at your age that you know you kind of stepping on their toes and what they doing, and it's like because you know you when you're in the military you come through like 6, 7 of your guys and it's like you know it's on like fraternal network.
Got you.
And you pull up and you in cars back to back and you ain't nothing but you know 19, 20, 21. So yeah.
So what was the I guess the launching point for Educated Thug? Like you were able to go into the how you came up with the name and you know what it means and everything. Like what was that moment that you were like, okay, this needs to happen. This is how I'm gonna do it.
All right, so back at college, we had to do a leadership program. So it was we had to do some sort of leadership development program where we go into the communities and put what we learned in the classroom to use. And they were doing all these service projects, and it was a group of me and like 5 young ladies who happened to be, you know, Caucasian, and they were coming up with crazy stuff. I was like, yo, let's grab ties, because I had this idea. I was like, yo, let's get ties and, you know, take young men ties and teach them how to tie them. Because when I was in the Army and on college, on campus, I was teaching the young boys how to tie ties, you know, all my counterparts. And they fell in love with it, and we started doing it. And I've been doing it since 2012.
Right.
Teaching young men how to tie ties. And when I moved to Vegas, it started off a corner store to corner office in New York, and then I moved to Vegas. And it was just a long name, and the logo wasn't right, and everybody was like, yo, you should go back to the ET thing, the Educated Thug. So we started that in 2017 here in Vegas, and we dropped like a big batch of hats, and because I've always been a hat guy. And just, you know, my partners and them growing up in a Brim neighborhood, you know, they always wore hats, you know. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna drop hats for them. You know, we rocking different hat now, like, you know. So, and it's a term of endearment back in New York. You know, they call you a hat boy. What up, hat boy? And we dropped the hats. I'm from upstate, Rochester.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You did say that. I don't know. I thought maybe the school was up there.
Nah. Well, it is. You know, 30 minutes out was Brockport, but I'm from Rochester. On there in Rugby. You know, 1-9, you know, got to shout them out, 19th Ward.
I've been out there. I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was appalled.
I bang with Rochester though. I got a couple frat brothers up there. Actually, I got a frat brother up there. Recently got married. That's what took me out there. I like Rochester. So when you decided to come to Vegas, was the initial plan coming here to expand it to a different coast, or it was just literally getting out of Rochester?
Well, you know, I graduated from Brockport 2014, and my whole family was like, don't go back to Rochester. And I had the ideas like, okay, well, I'm gonna go back and try to save my hood, you know, like go dump these resources into my neighborhood and, you know, help my people. And that's when Karen Pashadley, Miss P, she was like, yo, it's a ghetto everywhere. Wherever you go, you know, you'll have somebody to serve. And my mother was like, come to Vegas.
Oh, so she was out here first?
Yeah, my mother's been out here since 2012.
Oh,
Okay.
And she called me, and I remember, man, it had just snowed, and the snow was up to our knees.
we know that's not.
I was going to say, I know Ohio, right?
So we know that's not.
Man, and she's like, yo, it's 63 degrees here. I'm like, book my ticket right there. I'm like, it's like, I'm gone.
That's exactly what got my family out here. They left the snowstorm and went to LA. Yeah, and my uncle came and picked us all up in shorts.
Yeah,
it was like, hey, do you know what's going on right now?
It's crazy.
3 hours from here, it's happening. Yeah, it's really going down right now.
Yeah. Definitely.
When you first got out here, what was your approach? You seen that, you know, the area you was in is not the best. It's not the best. So what's your approach to something like that?
Man, at first it was just, you know, trying to emerge into the culture, because, you know, it's like anything. Like I'm a street dude, so it's like I'm not gonna post up on somebody else's block without knowing what's going on.
Right.
So it was first just immersing myself in the community, seeing who's doing what. Okay, what are the fraternities doing? What are the Masons doing? And, you know, what are these organizations doing? And then, you know, I ended up traveling to the East and early 2017.
Oh, so that was here?
Yeah, that's here.
Okay.
You know, King Solomon Lodge number 2. And once I got with them, I was like, okay, this is how it was going, cool. And then I just started meeting people and just networking, going to things, and, you know, young professionals, of course, and different things of that nature and seeing what people were doing, and nobody was really doing what I was doing, and if they was doing it from a different angle,
Gotcha.
you know. Because I just remember being a young boy and people coming into school, and I'm like, "Yo, these dudes is corny." You know, like
Yeah.
straight up, like, "Oh, go to school." Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you corny, but I don't want to be like
cool.
you."
Right.
Yeah, I'm straight. And then, you know, I had an OG that was in the Army with me, matter of fact, and you know, he was regular dude, and sat there and talked to him, and he just kicked wild game to me about school and stuff, and how, you know, he got out of his situation because he was from Newark, New Jersey. And I'm like, oh, I know Newark. Like, and, you know, he's just telling me all this stuff about school and all the fun he had. And so when I got out, I was like, yeah, I want parts of that.
I need that.
I need all that.
That's what's up. So I would say the time that you've actually been here and doing the work with Educated Thug, obviously it's taking you to heights that, you know, you wanted it to be, and I know you wanted it to be even bigger than what it is right now. Kind of comparing it back to from from the corner store to the corner office.
Yeah.
Kind of comparing the hustle between the two. Have you found it to be easier out here, considering the heights that it's at right now? Have you found it easier to kind of reach that than it was back in Rochester?
Well, you know, Rochester is small. It's a small city, so it's a lot of, you know, you gotta kind of, you know,
Make room.
Yeah, make room for yourself. And Vegas is like, you know, you could do something and it'll be overshadowed because Vegas is a big city.
Right.
But at the same time, it's a small town if you're black.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
know, and the second you do something, this one's doing that and doing that. Like, so I'll be honest, it's, you know, it has its pros and cons like everything else. I will say, you know, a couple people out here have, you know, called me and we've had conversations about things we want to do. And then, you know, 3 months down the line, we're supposed to do them. I see him on Facebook doing what we spoke about doing. I'm just like, oh, come on.
Yep. Welcome to Vegas, bro.
Yeah, that's
Like, yo, come on, son.
Yeah.
Like, and, you know, I ain't gonna do that. But yeah, it's just.
Hey, trust me, if you're gonna do it, this is the platform.
This is the
to do it.
platform.
yeah. We shoot shots.
It's your shots, okay. Well, in that case, no, I'm playing.
Nah, that's all good. You gotta be a positive representation.
I got to because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you still got to network and politics here.
Of course.
And there's the stuff with it.
Definitely.
Are you mentoring young men right now?
Yeah. We actually so we do mentoring through Educated Thug, but mostly we push them towards, you know, the youth fraternity that we have.
By how many?
By how many? Honestly, it depends on what we're doing.
Okay.
Depends on what we're doing. I do a lot of work at Orr Middle School and Peterson Elementary. So a lot of those guys we take under the wing and we do a lot with them on the weekends.
That's dope. I ask because people they want to skip steps. You know what I mean? So like when they're doing something like you're doing, they expect 150 people to show up, and it don't work that way. You know what I mean? So you are able to take what you got and maximize that, and eventually it's gonna keep going. I just think it's dope. So I was curious.
Well, now you know, people don't come out for those numbers unless it's something free.
Right.
And when we say free, like
free.
free.
Yeah.
And they want something from that.
Yeah. Like we took 100 kids to go see Black Panther, and you know they came out. They came out, and even kids like that didn't come out were calling the next day like, "Hey, how can we do this? How can we do that?" But I'm like, "Hey, your spot's been filled already." And with the backpacks, they come out for that. And when we do like some of the more like lower key stuff, like you know, like, "Hey, we're gonna meet here at this time to teach young men how to change a tire." You know, a few people come out.
Teach somebody our age. You gotta do that right now.
Right.
Man, it's awful, man. You know, sometimes I'm driving on the highway and I see a young lady out there changing the tire,
and the dude
with the dude just like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just watching it go down.
Yeah.
But I mean, same thing with tying the tie. I've seen some cats 30, 35 struggling, just show up with a whole Boy Scout knot. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? I like it to look like a rock. Just the look I'm going for.
Let's talk about this book. Let's talk about this coloring book.
Yes, the positively black coloring book.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. Highly interested because honestly, I'm trying to do a similar thing.
Yeah.
So I'm interested on how that came about.
So, I've been working on that project for 2 years, honestly.
Okay.
So after the Black Panther event, I got real fired up because I'm like, yeah, black.
Right.
You know, I walked out the the theater like, yo, this is how white people feel all the time. Like, yo, when they be putting, Achilles and all these cats on, like, this is how y'all feel? I was like,
like
yo,
this.
I love this. I'm like, yo, I need my youth to, to feel like this
Feel
all
that
the time.
empowerment,
Feel that
right.
empowerment. And I started just, talking to different artists and seeing how we could do this and what we could do. And it was a headache and a half, man. But after 2 years, we finally dropped it. And I just wanted to showcase, some of the dope artists that I know. Like 3-4 of the people in the book are like legitimately my family. Like they have the same last name, everything. Like the first page when you see it, I don't have any on me because like literally they sold out.
Which is
That's
a great,
dope.
great
Yeah,
problem to have.
yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah. So like the first page when you open it up is my cousin Isaiah Massey, and I'm named after his father. His father's name is Bryan too. So like it was just cats like that and my niece and a couple homies from back home, and I was like, yo, I want to pay y'all price, and I want to showcase y'all as artists.
Right.
And my talent honestly has always been like I don't have a talent. Like I can't draw, I can't sing. I used to think I could rap, but it was trash. But my talent is
searching
always,
the tapes.
man, listen. Nah, I ain't gonna give you that, but I ain't gonna make it easy, bro. But my talent has always been just pulling and bringing people together. And I'm that guy that's like, if I don't say, yo, we going here at this time, like it really don't happen. They be like, the homie's like, hey, this is what I want to do. And I say, boop, boop, and now we together.
Gotcha.
And so I just pulled it all together, and I wanted to make sure everybody got paid their price. No homie hookups, no discounts. Like these black artists got paid for their black art.
Right.
And everyone down to the publisher, down to the printer, they're all black.
Man.
Everybody.
And did you do that out here, or was this just back home for
Nah,
you?
this is here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like on Maryland is AA Printing, black owned.
Shout out to AA Print. I was about to say, like,
Thank you. Because
Black on.
yeah, thank you.
It's
Black on.
It's rare when you see something like that, something like a color, but any kind of illustration in general, where from the designers, from the paint, from the artists to the distributors to the printers, you know what I'm saying? Like all black.
Yeah.
So I think that's absolutely amazing. So obviously supporting the Positively Black coloring book, you're supporting everything black.
Yeah.
Because you made sure that those companies got their money, which is amazing.
Yeah, most
and
definitely.
I agree with you, man. Like we get to the point where, granted, we'd be lying if we said there aren't some black-owned businesses that's really out here, kind of shiesty onto the culture.
Right.
But we get to the point where when you hear about somebody owning something, somebody that looks like us, especially when they're your homeboy, and your first thought is, oh shit, I'm finna get the hookup on
Yeah.
that. We just recently opened up beat studios to a different people that do podcasts, don't need to do voiceover, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's all I've been getting. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, dog, you black owned.
Come me the discount, bro.
Pay me the same way you gonna go over
Pay
here
Phil, right.
and pay for this $300 an hour studio. I need my coins the same way they need their coins. Because my checks, my bills look just like theirs.
Exactly.
So mine's made a little past due. Mine got red stamps on it. So I really need my coin. So I obviously it goes without saying where the motivation came from creating the book. So I kind of go to a different place. What sparked after, coming up with the idea for, like, what helped create that?
Man,
Which is kind of still motivation as I thought about it. Yeah, we'll just go with that. What was the motivation behind creating the Positively Black coloring book?
well, just kind of making our own avenue in terms of what we want to do long term, and remembering back in the day where there was nothing that was black.
Right.
Like, you're even drawing superheroes, and even the superheroes, most of them are black.
Right.
I mean, most of them are white, excuse me. So it's like I wanted to give them something where my sons, they could sit down and they bust open the book and color. Those people look like them.
Right.
And they got their natural hair or, the this or the that, and the skin is black. And it's crazy because even some of my Caucasian brothers and sisters, they've been responding well to it.
Okay.
Like Aaron Barrett, man, first dude I was in the Army with, first person to purchase a book.
Yeah.
And
That's dope.
you know, he has black kids, but you know what I'm saying? Like he wanted to make sure that, you know, his people was represented too. Like his children who were biracial had that representation.
Oh, because society's only going to see them as black.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
They need that.
And he knows that. And he just wanted to make sure that, okay, he's got both.
Right.
What excuse me. Shit, I forgot my question so fast.
Oh, good. As far as the artists,
Now I remember.
I guess we'll get back to mine.
What was the process like of doing this?
Oh man.
I'm sure you ran into some stuff where you was like, man, fuck this shit. So what was the process?
Man, I said it about 5 times. Like at one point in time, I just put it down. I wasn't even touching it. Man, so like the first summer, like 2018 summer, I was reaching out to people and they were talking crazy, like, oh, they wanted this, that, and 3 copies of the book sent prior to the release, and you know, just all of this stuff.
And these are like publishing companies? Or
no, these were artists, man.
Wow.
Like, because you gotta understand, like, artists is divas, man. Artists are divas, like, no matter what they do. That's why the movie stars act the way they act when they get certain, you know, level. Artists is divas, and you know, which they, you know, it's kind of like they're entitled to, because like when you're a dope artist, you're a dope artist. Like you notice. But that formatting was big for me. Formatting was big for me because things just get kicked back, and that get discouraging. I lost my USB 3 times.
Shit.
And I
y'all
had to
don't
start
understand
over.
how stressful. I've lost my USB before that. That's why I don't end up going to get the external hard drive. When Beat was literally just the USB.
Yeah.
And you get that situation, you wake up, you're like, wait, hold on,
where did I put that?
what? I knew it.
Man,
and
like,
now you're just creating everything again. So I feel for you, brother.
and like that wasn't the only project on my USB. So like I had, you know, like there's a children's book coming too. So I dropped that here. That's exclusive. There's a children's book coming too.
Let's go. We need drops back. We need them back.
And it's about, like, you know, just children's coping skills, you know, when a parent isn't actively in the home. So I've been.
You mind if we touch on that a little later? Like, you know, kind of. I don't know if you want to drop too many gems on it.
I'll give you a little something, you know, a little something.
Cool.
I lost that and the coloring book and like some other stuff, and man,
shit.
I was looking at everybody different. Like, like you got that, Mom? Like, stop playing. Like, you know, like,
I got questions.
Like, I was looking at my kids like, hey man, give me a book, man. Give me a book back, man.
The thug.
Did you end up finding it?
The thug was coming out.
Man, so the funny part about it is, you know, God working mysterious ways. So I lost it, then I had to start over. And then when I found it, I was like,
ain't this a bitch?
man, I don't even want that no more. Like, this look way better than just the formatting because, and then, you know, I had a couple people run off on the plug with me with money and stuff, and changed a couple relationships. Like, anytime you do any big project, it'll change a few of your relationships. Because when we did the re-up, you know, I had some fellas that, you know, they were supposed to come in and with the 501c3 and do all this and whoop whoop, and you know, at the end of the day, it was like, man, I appreciate you for that lesson, brother. You know, much love. I love you though,
right?
Because at the end of the day, it's all love, man. As long
There's no losses.
Nah, as long as the people get what they supposed to, man. So
definitely,
as long as the work is done.
How long was the process from the first pick? Well, I guess coming up with the idea to publishing and distribution.
Man, 2 years. 2 years, solid 2 years. And even then, it was like I had dropped the pre-sales and all of that stuff before it was even completely, you know, finished. And excuse me. And man, like I said, it was crazy.
What was the official release date?
The official release date is January 2020.
Okay.
But you know, we did the pre-sales during Kwanzaa, you know, just to get the people something, because
the
people that were close to me, and you know, they knew it was coming, so like they were looking forward too. Like, hey, what's going on with that? Or you know, and we were going to different schools and things and giving them free coloring pages, so you know, the kids could color. And one of the exercises we do is with our mascot, Lil Thuggy. That's the one with the, you know, the whole graduation get up, and you know,
On the cover.
it's like what do you look like when you graduate, and you know, like on the back they write down all these goals they have, and they color it like. So some cats was, you know, some young men they were coloring it with like Gucci, and you know, like they had Gucci robes on and stuff, and ball mane, and they had all types of stuff. So we were giving that out and doing that and posting pictures. So people were like, "Hey, this is dope. You should come over." Yes. It's dropping this day. It's dropping this day. And then dates kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. Because originally we were supposed to have it for this year. Well, actually last year. No, year before that, 2018 Christmas. And then it was like, okay, well, 2019 Christmas. And then it was like, oh, Kwanzaa. All right. And then it was like, oh,
Right.
Black History Month's coming. You know, so like, because like so many things
Not
were
of black
up.
things.
Yeah. And then I was like, man, if it doesn't come out now, like, I don't know what to do. But we got it out, and things worked out with the publishing and all of that stuff, because even before that, it's like, you know, you want to own all your stuff and make sure stuff is straight. Because,
Right.
like, a lot of these publishing companies, they'll give you your ISBN.
Right.
Like, here's the ISBN. We'll assign it to you. And you're like, oh, yeah, cool. I got a free ISBN. But really, they pretty much taking points off your package
something off of that, right?
before you even get the, you know, get the bag. And in the long term, that $100, $200, $300, $400, however much it takes you to buy the ISBN, you know, you losing out on that, because down the line, that's $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, depending on how far your book goes, and you know, things of that nature, and who wants to pick it up, and you know, because some of these people that publish books, you know, they're getting picked up by Walmart, and, you know, Barnes and Nobles. Holla at us, but
cut the check. We tell y'all this on the show every week. Cut the check.
And but down the line, you know, it'll be something small. But if we're talking about an order of 10,000 units, like that's you know, like that's a
some
rent,
money, right.
couple mortgages.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. So it's out. How do you feel?
Man,
You obviously went through some shit. So how do you feel?
man, it's like climbing a mountain, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like, I'm pretty sure y'all felt the same way when y'all got everything up and running.
Oh yeah.
And you just take that moment and
Shit, we were still looking for a ride to the mountain. Like, just get me there. I'll go from there.
but,
I got the gear on me.
Right. I just need a ride.
But honestly, the best feeling in the world was I have a junior, and Bryan Massey Jr., and handing it to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, Dad, that's my name. And I'm like, exactly. Like, this is you. Like, one day, you know, because the ISBN, like, I own the ISBN. Like, I own this, I own that. So it's like, that's you.
That's you,
know?
yeah.
And just trying to build something for him and, you know, getting him set up, because, like, even before I got him from New York, he was out there teaching young men how to tie ties. And just seeing that legacy. So that's what really, you know, that's what made me feel good. And, you know, shameless plug.
Have at it.
He has a bow tie line coming out.
That's dope.
It's called Beyond Bow Ties. And that'll be dropping, like, right before the summer.
That's generational wealth.
I was about to say, Jay-Z's been trying to tell us this.
Right.
Making sure it's passing out, make sure the legacy is good going forward. No, that's super dope. Especially, you know, with you putting your son in it and him having that kind of reaction. That's what all little black boys and girls should feel. They should be able to see those things and have it not just be when it comes down to Black Panther. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, like, when you really think about it, before Black Panther, there was no moment like that. So creating something like the Positively Black coloring book, knowing that I can go to something, grab something, I can see somebody with coarse hair like myself, somebody with bronze skins like myself. It's empowering.
Yeah.
Even no matter what age, you know, as a kid going there in color, it's going to be empowering for them because they know that they're represented. And the fact that your son was able to pick that up, that's super dope.
Yeah.
And he can tie a bow tie. He has me on that. Because I'm not there. My clip-on game is crazy.
The clip-on
game crazy.
My bow tie game, my tying of the bow tie, it's not there.
I'm going to say he's going to have those on deck too. You know what I'm saying?
My guy, I will be there. How many pages?
32.
32? What are some of your favorite layouts from it?
Man, well, there's a few. So number one is Nora. That's like midway through the book. It's a piece dedicated to my mother that Tashina Bradley out of Indiana, Indianapolis, Indiana. She drew for me. My mother's in a wheelchair, so it's like this, you know, superhero type of
Right.
black woman in a chair, and you know, Actually, you know, one of my best friends from Brockport, she's in the chair too. So she was like, hey, I don't see no representation of me or your mama in here.
You ain't
and I'm
turning
like,
in enough.
you know what, my bad. My bad, queen. I went back and, you know, I found somebody who could do it and bring it to life. That one, my niece's piece, Unchained, Unbreakable. Man, it's hard, cause I've loved the book. Like,
it's hard to pick your favorite from your. You know what I'm saying? I get that.
Not even because it's mine. It's like I'm a fan of the artist first. Like,
How many artists did you use?
yeah, honestly, I couldn't even tell you, bro. I couldn't even tell you. It's a lot. It's a lot. Kate the Deviant, Zayart21 on Instagram.
And these are people you just DM'd them, was like, yo, or
Some of them were. Some of
okay.
them were. It was, you know, I was going through Devon Brooks. He was one. I was going through. I was like, yo, I love your art. I shared something. I was like, yo, this art is dope. Woo, woo. And he hit me. He was like, yo, whenever you need a commission, let me know. I said, well, funny thing.
now that I got you.
And I can't forget Ed the Illustrator. Like if you go to his page, Ed the Illustrator, you'll see some art from him that you didn't even know was his art. So it's like when you see some of the artists like the old man in the bed with the wife, the picture of the wife, like, and he's crying, and it's like all black and white. He does like a lot of black and white art. And he drew the Super Family. And yeah, so you got to get a book, man. So you see the Super
I was gonna get one, but they sold out.
You get them on Amazon now.
Okay.
Yeah, so everything's through Amazon now. All you got to do is type in Positively Black.
Okay.
And on there, we also showcase a couple other artists in terms of like journals with just the art on the front and, you know, just to write down your thoughts. And, you know, if you got those bars, write down your bars, you know, whatever you do. You know, I have one and it's literally like my little dream journal. And whenever I have an idea, I bust it out, write it down.
So what you're saying is bars in there is what you're saying.
Right.
No, it's no more bars. It's no more bars. It's, you know.
So there's a tape on the way.
Yeah.
Tape on the way.
No.
Make sure that
Positive
piff,
black tape.
that piff, NBM. So you mentioned earlier that you're working on a children's book.
Yeah.
Is it kind of like expanding on the characters you created, or is it kind of like a completely left thing?
No, it's so the children's book's completely different.
Okay.
It's a finished product on my end. I'm just looking on the right illustrator to bring, you know, my vision to life. And it's so I'm a single father, but I've been on both sides, in home, out of home, you know, non-custodial, custodial. And it's about, you know, how do I cope with one of my parents not being here?
Right.
And, you know, growing up in a single parent home, like that's something that I would have wanted.
Right.
Like, okay, well, I see dad, but this dude don't be here every night. And, you know, when I have a bad dream, he's not here.
Right.
And, you know, things of that nature. And I've been on both sides of that as a parent. You know, the one that you come to for everything and the one that's, okay, well, you on the phone, I'll talk to you later. Like, you know, so
Right.
it's about that. And it's about both sides, too. Not just as a child, but as a parent, too. So it's something you could read to your kids and, you know, and help them get a better understanding to that, you know. So that's honestly just no release date to that.
This is in the works.
It's
Do you think this process so far, does this process seem easier than the coloring book process?
Well, yeah, because it's me. Like, I'm the writer. So once I get the right illustrator, then the book's done.
Gotcha.
Know,
Less people you got to go to do certain
less
shit.
people. And the first one, you know, you climb a mountain once, it's always tougher than going back through your trail, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now I know the do's and the don'ts for the next time and how to really draw that roadmap to the goal, because before it was just like, yeah, I want to get there without knowing how to get there and all of the, you know, the trials and tribulations that it takes to get there. Now it's like, okay, well, I know over there, like 30,000 feet right there, that's going to be a drop. So, you know, so that's, it's actually easier for me, you know, so.
Where did you get the information to do all this? Did you just like Google stuff and try to see, or pick up books? Like what did you do?
Everything, man. Everything. You know, they say it's 3 ways to learn something. A mentorship. You can do it yourself, trial and error, or you take a class. And honestly, I did all 3.
Good.
I sat down in this class and they taught me the ins and outs of certain graphics.
Okay.
And I was just talking to people and reading. I read a lot. A lot of people say like I'm on my phone, you know.
Same with me.
And
And my phone,
like,
no, I'm reading.
Yeah, I'm legit reading something. Like
I was doing that when you walked in. I was reading.
and they're like, oh, get off your phone. You're on social media. I'm like, a big part of what I do is social media, but I guarantee you right now, I'm legit reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, or you know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to tell you, I'm working.
the Emerald tablets or something crazy.
So, do you think that when you get the next book out, when you get the children's book out, is this kind of going to be your lane that you're going to rock for a little bit? Obviously, it's still going to be Educated Thug, but it's kind of that extension to it.
Yeah. Honestly, yes. Like I love it. Like I love it. I love the books. I love literacy. You'll see them popping up around town. The free libraries we got.
Hey.
So I think reading, writing. If math is easy. After about sorry, math teachers, but after about 8th, 9th grade, you don't need half of that stuff. But your level of writing and reading can never stop growing.
Right. Exactly.
And if you can write your ticket. Like I legit, how Jay-Z said, I wrote my way out the hood. Like I legitimately wrote my way out the hood.
That's exactly the path that I'm on. That's exactly the path I'm on. Write my way out of it.
Like I legit wrote my way out the hood. Like people don't know this, but there's a spot on Normandy in Rochester, New York. It's a tat house, but in this tat house, like everything happens in there. And I did my college application right there. And my boy was over here doing what he do. They was tattooing over there, and I did my college application. And they're like, "What you doing, son?" I'm like, "No, chill, son. You over there watching some crazy stuff?" Like, yeah. And my acceptance letter came in like a few days, and they called me, said, "Come out here," and I ain't looked back. So literacy and reading and writing is a big integral part of what we're trying to do, Educated Thug, and just make sure that we drop more material and more things that these little black boys and girls could be proud of and feel honored to hold. And like the get back that I've been getting from this book is beautiful. Like one of my boys, he called me and I answered, "It's a son." "Thank you, Bryan. Thank you, Mr. Massey. I love my book." And I'm just like, oh, like all that thug stuff went out the window. Yo, son, you good, B? You good? And just seeing like different people respond to it, like they love it. So I really enjoyed this project. It was a lot getting it out, but like I think it's gonna be more. It's gonna be more to come. It's gonna be more coloring books, more activity books. The activity book legitimately will be here by the end of the year. Yeah. And that's gonna be like pretty much like Toy Story got theirs. Disney got 20 of them. Educated Thug gonna have some.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And A for Africa books, all of that stuff. Like we got a lot going on, and we just trying to get it out to the people and make sure that they respond well to it. And if they do, we're gonna keep dropping it.
Okay. You dropped the gym during that explanation, and you mentioned the free libraries. Yeah, because that's actually like one of the first things I was thinking when I asked the question about keep moving forward with books and everything like that. The first thing I thought about was the old book fair buses that used to come out, like in LA. Like they used to pull up on the elementary schools.
Yeah,
and,
we had
everybody go in there and do their thing. So when you say the free libraries, is that kind of like a mobile thing? Well, obviously maybe not in a truck, but just like pull up like a little.
Nah, like like you go into the corner store, the convenience store. It says "Give a penny, take a penny."
Oh, okay.
Like just boom, take a book, leave a book.
Okay.
And it's free library. Anybody could frequent it, just as long as nobody's doing nothing crazy with it. Right. And make sure the little babies, we keep them stocked with books, and we'll fill them ourselves. And they'll be popping up. I'm just waiting on a couple confirms from different locations and sites, and they'll be posted there. So you can't move them, you can't do anything with them, and this is right here, like the corner boy posted. Them books, got them books on deck, bro.
I hate taking everything would be negative with other things and turn it into a positive, and flipping it and having it work for you. It's all in the Educated Thug, man. Come on,
it really is.
Everything makes sense.
It does. It does. Because at first I was like, damn, why that? It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, pieces.
Yeah, most definitely. We got that work for you.
Definitely. More personal question. from Educated Thug to the book to the things you're working on going forward, what's been like the most fulfilling piece to all this? Like what makes you lay down now? Like, okay,
Man, honestly, we do the books, like, of course, because we want to get it to the people, but that's really the fun to dream.
Mm-hmm.
And the fun to dream, the dream was the ties in the community work. And honestly, when I get the letters from the kids, or I got a letter from a girl who went to Monaco Middle School. And
where's that at?
Up on the east side.
Yeah, that's
like
inside.
East like me.
Yeah.
And she was telling me how, my story really spoke to her, and how she didn't know how to tie a tie, and neither did her father, and she gave the tie to her father, and then a couple weeks later he got hired, and he got a job and he could take care of the family. Like, all of this was in the letter about how he can now be a man and take care of the family, and I was just like, man. And the other time that really, really got me was I was walking down the street on Cambridge, and a cop was like, "What's up, Thug?" And I'm like, "Oh man, he on some crazy stuff right here we go."
Oh, he actually said that?
He said, "What's up, Thug?" And I'm like, "Oh my God." And then I turned around, like, "What's up?" And he said, "No, I really like what you did down the street, man." He's like, "With the backpack thing." And I'm like, "Oh, what's up?" Yeah. He's like, "Yeah, I was there. Remember we took the picture?" I'm like, "We did. Thank you."
Don't call me up there.
I'm about to say, you got to change your approach because y'all need some different stuff.
And he gave me his card. He was like, "You need anything?" I'm like,
that's a good plug to have.
all right.
Definitely.
And we're looking to, partner with Metro. And I got the card still. I haven't emailed them. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, yeah, naturally.
But, just because I was scared. Like, I was looking around when they gave me, like, oh, man. All my street cred is dead now.
I ain't gonna tell nobody else.
Right. But just seeing that, like, from a cop who, and, it's that line, between black and blue.
Yeah.
That you're like, we don't cross that line, brother.
Right.
But, he crossed that line and shook my hand and literally gave me a real dap. Like, I'm like, okay.
It's cool.
Officer.
It's different, but it's cool.
Yeah, it's different. And
I'm gonna dap you, but I'm gonna eye you the whole time.
yeah. I was waiting for him to get the cuts. I'm like, oh, man.
I can transition to the illest choke. Really.
Yo, no lie. Like, yeah. But, so things like that, and just, my sons, like, having them here and them seeing the work, because they, they hear about it, they see the pictures, and they're at that age where, they can look online, they can literally Google me and see, what I'm doing, and, even without me talking to them that day, and they like, "Oh, you were at this, Dad." When I call them, and back
They
in
telling you about your
yeah,
schedule.
they telling me about something. I'm like, yeah, you saw that? Like, okay, cool. So it's like, now they're here with me every day, and they see it, and they go to school, and the kids are like, "Yo, we know your dad," and "Oh my God, you know the Educated Thug," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah."
It's a good look.
Yeah, it really is.
good look.
Especially with that feeling. I've had that feeling with my son before. He's like,
Yeah.
the kids know you do the show. Oh, really? That's cool.
They should not be listening.
They shouldn't be. But all right, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm a cool dad now.
Right.
Told you I wasn't corny, because your kids always think you corny.
Oh, absolutely.
They always think you corny.
Absolutely. Think you corny and swear they teaching you something.
Yeah, I'm like,
Like, we was doing this years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, wait till I pull up to assembly days.
Man, like, no, yo,
Conference
and
to
that's
shut
what
down.
got him. That's what got him, because he's like, "Your dad, you don't know, whatever, Dad." And I come up to the school, and they're like, "That's your dad? Oh my God, he's fly. He has the Yeezys," and like I'm like, "Okay, what's up, dude?" Like,
What's happening with you?
what's up? And then, like, the little girl's like, "Oh my God, that's your daddy." I'm like,
Wait,
I'm out.
Wait till I get 18.
Yo, no lie. He's like, "Yeah, Dad, I see. I get it from you. I get it from you." He's like, "I'm the man now." I'm like, "Okay."
That's generational wealth on a whole,
Yeah, on a
level
whole
right
different
there.
level, yeah.
I'm passing this down.
That's social capital.
Man, before you got any other questions?
No, the hat. I've been eyeing his hat the whole time you've been here because I think it's dope. Talk about the hat. How did that come about?
This hat or just the hats in general?
Just hats in general.
The hats in general. Like I said, like, I'm from a Brim neighborhood. I hate to do this, but free streets Brim. The big homie. But we always wore hats, like hat boys.
Gotcha.
So naturally, it was like, okay, well, now that, because the hat is like symbolic to your roles that you play in life. So it's like you switch your hats.
Gotcha.
So it's like took the Brim hat on, put the Educated Thug hat on, and now we banging on the system.
Gotcha.
You know, the motto of Educated Thug is get at education and bang on the system. You know, we ain't banging in the streets no more. We bang on the system, oppression, education system, and making sure they know we here and we gonna be here, you know, and we gonna get the degrees, we gonna get all the certs, everything, man. Like
we still gonna look like us,
and I'm still gonna be me, man.
Absolutely.
Like that's a fact, man. And so the hats, we don't drop them as often now, just because there was a point where I was copping buku hats and I was just sitting on hats,
yeah.
And so now we just really do one-ofs.
Okay.
And we drop hats whenever, something inspires us. Like, so we got some stuff coming up in the summer that we're going to drop hats for, and some events coming up. And if the book didn't drop at the same time as, Black History, we had a Black History hat coming. So we're going to say that one for next year.
Okay.
Or Kwanzaa. So
put some Pan-African colors on there.
Oh, you already know, man. RVG, man.
Hey.
But make sure you hit up educatedthug.com and subscribe, and you'll see when they drop.
I'm gonna do that.
Man, I'm pretty sure I told you this 3 years ago, but I really mean it, man. I love everything that Educated Thug does and what it represents. I love the chain reaction that it's having with the youth. It's doing what it's supposed to do, and it's cooking how it's supposed to cook.
Yeah.
Vegas, especially Black Vegas, needs to be behind this way more than it already is. You already have a hell of a following, because I hear your name in multiple circles.
Yeah.
Vegas needs to be behind this a lot more. What you're doing is an amazing thing, man. And again, you're creating, a different kind of following, for cats that come from where we come from and do what we do. I think it's dope, man.
I appreciate it.
It's only so many words I can even put behind it, man. But I think it's
appreciate it.
Absolutely dope, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Let the ear hustlers and all the people know where they can find you, the book, Educated Thug in general. Drop all your info.
So first and foremost, follow us any social media, Educated Thug, Instagram, Educated Thug LLC. If you Google Educated Thug, it'll pop up all the links. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, educatedthug.com. You could get all the books on Amazon.com, and they are Prime eligible. So if you have Prime, it'll come straight to you, bang, and straight to your doorstep. Cash on delivery,
boy.
bang, bang, bang.
That's what I'm talking about.
I just signed up right now.
Appreciate it. So subscribe to the website, and you'll see everything. There's some articles on there, and some more coming, videos, and we're revamping the whole.
You got a hoodie on
website.
here I rock with too.
Yeah. The hoodies, the hoodies sold out before I even dropped them. So I didn't even.
The hoodies gonna always go
man,
first.
man, because a lot of my people in New York still sold.
Y'all make cold. That's where y'all distribute snow to the rest of the country.
Manufactured there.
Exactly.
Man, listen, and I think it was like the 100 and something years. Brockport only closed once.
That's nuts.
It only closed once. I was there when that happened too, and it was crazy. It was crazy.
That New York snow, bro, it looks like the Revenant.
Yeah.
Like you literally
waiting for a bear.
Right?
Like,
you going through the outbacks and the trenches just to get to work. Like, come on, man.
Most definitely.
That
Yo, what was that? Game of Thrones when it was like We Are the North. Like
Yeah.
that's Rochester, New York, man.
That's Rochester.
That's definitely Rochester.
That's just a Tuesday. Nah, man, we definitely appreciate you coming through,
Absolutely.
brother.
Appreciate it.
We gotta have you back on, especially when you drop the children's book. Whatever
Definitely.
you drop, understand we need you on the Noize.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We need you to come and talk to the ear hustlers, because
Most
majority of them, if not all of them, are Black. So they need to get all this work. They need to get the gyms and everything like that. Kev, let people know where they can find you, bro.
Hello Kev __ on Instagram and Twitter. That's where I be at.
At Big Los IG on IG, and of course Big Los 89 on Snapchat. I say it all the time and just blank just like that. At the Noize Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And of course, BeatNetworkOnline.com for everything Beat Network. Again, the Educated Thug in Bryan Massey.
Yeah.
The Positively Black coloring book. Make sure y'all get out there, copy it. It's available on Amazon. Follow Educated Thug. Get behind this man. Support this man. Know everything that he's doing, and make sure that you're doing what you can do to help the next generation.
As the more and more you come on this show, eventually I'm going to get some bars. It's going to happen.
Nah.
Listen, I shoot the video. I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? My production game is crazy.
Nah. You know, I know a few rappers. You know, if you need them, I got you.
Bring them in, drop some educated verses. You feel me?
Right.
As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, we appreciate the support. And as always, it's Big Los.
Hollywood Kev.
It's the Noize.